Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Siheyuan. Forcing me to steal vegetables, backhand handing over to guard the health department. Liu Aiguo traveled to the world of courtyard houses and became a laborer in the kitchen of the steel rolling mill. At the beginning, Yuzhu and Qin Huairu forced me to steal vegetables, and if I didn't steal vegetables, I would still wear my little shoes. Okay, I handed over the stolen vegetables to the security department. Stick memes come to my house to steal eggs. Poisonous scorpions are released and will bite you, causing infertility. Zhang splash. Okay, try the taste of toilet gold juice. Mr. E morally kidnapped me, saying that I do not respect the elderly and love the young. Then let you do a somersault, see if I can help you. In the happy fighting bird game, the check.In system has been activated. Dingdong, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in and receiving 888 pounds of Wuchang rice, 666 pounds of eggs, 100 pounds of pork. Liu Aiguo's days are getting more and more prosperous, but the birds are getting hotter. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. Yuzhu forces me to steal vegetables and select the system. You are listening at novel full.audio. Liu Aiguo sat on an old stool and took a sip of cold water. Comfortable, damn it. I've been tired all day, and finally I can take a little rest. Liu Aiguo was originally a college student of the 21st century and was still in his second year of college. When crossing the road, I was hit by a big run at a red light, and then inexplicably traveled back to the 1960s. Both parents are experts in certain technologies and took the initiative to go to the northwest to support the country's high-end weapon construction. Later, due to severe radiation sickness, the elderly couple passed away at the age of only 40. Chased as a martyr. After his parents left, Liu Aiguo was arranged to work at the Hongqing Road steel rolling mill and live in a courtyard by the superiors. At this moment, Liu Aiguo realized that he had not simply traveled back to the 1960s, but to the courtyard house. That's right, it's the world filled with the plot of the quadrangle. In the courtyard, there are 3 street-appointed stewards. There are Qin Huairu with white lotus flowers, Yuzhu with the god of war, Su Damao with pus flowing from his bad feet, and a deaf old lady who relies on old age to sell her. Today is Liu Aiguo's first time working as a miscellaneous worker in the kitchen. The so-called kitchen assistant is doing all kinds of work. Transport ingredients, wash vegetables, select vegetables, and cut vegetables. There are also noodles, steamed mantou, rice and so on. Live a lot. However, in theory, there are also many staff members in the kitchen. In addition to Chef Yuzhu and the head of the kitchen cafeteria, Lao Zhao, there are also 7 or 8 miscellaneous workers, such as Lu Lan, Ma Hua, and others. But these people are old-timers, and they are loafing their jobs. As a result, Liu Aiguo undoubtedly did more work and was also assigned other miscellaneous tasks by Yuzhu, so at the end of the day, he almost broke his waist. At this moment, Chef Yuzhu walked slowly into the kitchen with his hands behind his back. He looked at Liu Aiguo sitting in the chair and his face turned black. He said, "Why? I'm feeling tired now. I'll tell you, this is the first day, and you'll be tired from now on. Get up, don't sit, you child, you don't have a trace of eye. Is this where you are sitting? This is my place." Yuzhu reached out and pulled Liu Aiguo out of his chair, and sat down with his old spirit present. Liu Aiguo looked dissatisfied. But there's no way. In the kitchen, Yuzhu is the sky. The power of this dog day is great, and it is also rampant, even the cafeteria director, Lao Zhao, is willing to bow down. "Hi. Kid, don't leave. Let me tell you something." Yuzhu sat on that tattered chair, crossed his legs, and shouted to Liu Aiguo. He then took a soft sip of water from the enamel jar next to him and said, "Do you want me to take care of you?" How about I arrange some easier work for you in the kitchen in the future? Yuzhu's face was filled with a smile, and there was a sense of arrogance in his smile. Liu Aiguo frowned and said, "What do you say?" He knew that Yuzhu was by no means a good person. Cough cough. Yuzhu said, "That's right. Come on, come on. Give me your lunchbox. Help me bring something." Without waiting for Liu Aiguo to agree, Yuzhu reached out and brought an aluminum lunch box from Liu Aiguo. He then looked left and right to make sure that everyone else had finished work before he said with a smile on his face, "Help me bring some leftovers back. My 2 lunch boxes are full and I can't take them." "Use your lunch box. Don't worry, tomorrow's miscellaneous work will be easier for you if I let others do it." Liu Aiguo's eyebrows furrowed even more. This is really stealing ingredients. Having watched the original drama, Liu Aiguo still knows some of Yuzhu's bad things. "But you're stealing and pulling me, I definitely can't agree." But before Liu Aiguo could refuse, Yuzhu had already opened his lunch box and started packing things. Crash. Pearl-like rice, poured a whole lunch box. Then he put 2 snow-white eggs into the lunchbox. This Liu Aiguo was dumbfounded. Is this special? Is that leftover food? This is clearly a high-quality material, it's really stolen material. Wait. Liu Aiguo said, "Chef I can't help you with this. Don't prank me, give me my lunchbox back quickly." Yuzhu sneered and casually slammed his lunchbox shut, saying, "What's bothering you? It's already off work now and no one has seen it. Let's go back together." "No way." Liu Aiguo said, "Give me back my lunchbox." Liu Aiguo. Yuzhu couldn't help but raise his voice and shouted, "You must think carefully. If you don't help me, tomorrow our kitchen work will all be yours. When you're exhausted, don't blame me. If you dare not do the miscellaneous work I arranged for you, you will not be able to pass your internship period and will be dismissed." Yuzhu looked at Liu Aiguo with a fierce light in his eyes. Liu Aiguo's weakness is clear to him, and he can definitely handle it at will with Yuzhu. Dingdong. At this moment, a crisp voice suddenly came to Liu Aiguo's mind. The super selection system has been successfully bound. May I ask the host if it has been activated? What? Liu Aiguo was immediately overjoyed. Damn it. The system. Golden finger. I have been traveling for several months now, finally waiting for you. Great. Activate. Liu Aiguo didn't even think about it and chose to activate it directly. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host, the super selection system has been successfully activated. Super selection system, now publishing tasks, please host to make a choice. Option 1. Promise Yuzhu to secretly bring vegetables for him without any reward. Option 2. Strictly reject Yuzhu, grab the lunchbox back, reward 10 renminbi, and 1 pound of meat ticket. Option 3. Bring your lunchbox and head straight to the security department. Report Yuzhu and reward him with 888 renminbi, 1 ton of rice, 1 ton of flour, 100 pounds of pork, 100 pounds of eggs, and a sincere symbol. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 002. Handover to the security department, from Yuzhu. You are listening at novel full.audio. 3 options. Surprised Liu Aiguo's expectations. System, what is this sincerity symbol? Returning to the host, sincerity symbol, after use, can make the user speak the truth, tell the truth. Ah. To be honest. Is this reward so useless? However, looking at the other rewards, Liu Aiguo thought for a moment and made a direct choice. I choose 3. What kind of reward is not important, mainly in my opinion. To be a person, one should be an upright person, someone who dares to fight against ugly phenomena. I'll give you one more minute to think about it. Yuzhu shook the lunch box in front of Liu Aiguo. Liu Aiguo said, "Okay. I'll help you." He. Yuzhu smiled and said, "Is that right? Can you help me this time? From now on, whether in the kitchen or in the courtyard, I will cover you up. Don't worry. We're in the same courtyard, it's in your interest to hang out with me. Let's go." As he spoke, Yuzhu changed his lunch box to Liu Aiguo, and then carried his 2 lunch boxes leisurely out of the door. Liu Aiguo followed closely behind. The workers of the entire steel rolling mill are walking outside. The setting sun is like a red-orange, and the slanting sunlight pulls the figures of everyone into an old age. Looking outside from the factory, there are no truly high-rise buildings in this era. The air is fresh and full of steaming heat. Although the sun is about to set, the temperature is still so high that it makes people sweat profusely. Thousands of workers, dressed in neat and uniform work clothes covered in dirt, walked outside the factory. The human figure is like flowing water, a scene of traffic and horses. Almost everyone is holding a mesh bag, which contains 2 aluminum lunch boxes. This is the guy who eats, and the steel rolling mill is not allowed to go home at noon. Many employees have to use lunch boxes to bring food from home. There are also some people who bought leftover food in the cafeteria at noon and happen to take the leftovers home with a lunchbox. So lunch boxes are almost standard for every employee. Liu Aiguo followed Yuzhu as he walked outside, knowing that there were people from the security department at the factory gate. These people have been guarding the door all day, mainly to prevent workers from stealing steel from the factory. Don't be nervous. As he approached the door, Yuzhu reached out and patted Liu Aiguo's shoulder, saying, "Don't worry, they're searching for anyone stealing steel and won't search for us. Let's go. Follow me. Don't worry, just leave normally." Yuzhu walked while also guiding Liu Aiguo. The 2 walked to the door. Sure enough, 4 or 5 patrol personnel from the security department stood at the door with sticks in their hands. But they don't do a body search, they just watch. Give you a sense of authority, so that employees dare not have the thought of stealing. Someone stole something. Someone stole something. Just as he arrived at the door, Liu Aiguo raised his lunch box and shouted loudly. Following closely behind, Yuzhu was taken aback for a moment and then turned black. "Liu Aiguo, are you crazy?" But he also reacted quickly, making a quick decision like leaving. There are too many workers around, and Yuzhu didn't squeeze out. The deputy head of the security department, Liu Sanhua, walked over a few steps and asked, Who stole something?" Liu Aiguo pointed at Yuzhu and said, "It's him. The head chef of the kitchen, Yuzhu." Schwa. Countless employees turned their gaze to Yuzhu. Now, Yuzhu can't even think of leaving. He didn't dare to steal things himself, so he asked me to bring them with him. "Look, they're all in my lunch box." He forced me to bring it. He said if I don't bring it to him, he will clean me up. Liu Aiguo shouted loudly. On the other hand, Deputy Director Liu has already captured Yuzhu. He pushed Yuzhu and Liu Aiguo together. Dozens of workers were surrounded. Yuzhu's face turned blue and he said, "No. Deputy Chief Liu, don't listen to him talk nonsense. This is someone who just entered our kitchen today. He has a brain problem and is talking nonsense." "I'm not talking nonsense." Without saying a word, Liu Aiguo opened his lunch box with a click. Inside, the white rice was exposed in front of the surrounding workers. Then there are 2 eggs inside the rice. "Good guy, this is rice. And eggs. This requires 2 pounds of rice." Hiss, hiss. "Damn it, you stole state-owned assets and even eggs." The surrounding workers became angry one by one. Nowadays, everyone can't eat enough. Why is it that your kitchen is so blatant about stealing things and stealing such good supplies? Surprisingly, it's eggs and rice. No. It's not me. It's not me, it was Liu Aiguo who stole it himself. It's none of my business. Yuzhu panicked and quickly pushed everything onto Liu Aiguo's head. But Deputy Chief Liu sneered and said, "Take both of them and bring them back to the security department for the chief to interrogate. Keep an eye on the gate, I'll report to Director Yang." Dingdong. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Special rewards include 888 renminbi, 1 ton of rice, 1 ton of flour, 100 pounds of pork, 100 pounds of eggs, and 1 sincere token. The item has been distributed to your system space, please check it carefully. Sitting in the security department, Liu Aiguo suddenly heard the sound of the system. Liu Aiguo breathed a sigh of relief. The reason why he dares to report Yuzhu is because the system has promised to reward this so-called sincerity symbol. This is his trump card. With this thing, I'm not afraid of Yuzhu not telling the truth. However, now he doesn't have time to see the rewards he has received. Because at this moment, he and Yuzhu are being interrogated in the security department. Who are you two stealing things? The head of the security department, surnamed Kong, is about 40 years old. Chief Kong looked at Yuzhu and Liu Aiguo. Yuzhu quickly said, "It's not me. Definitely not me. If it's me stealing, Chief Kong, how could I possibly put it in someone else's lunchbox?" Right. Chief Kong sneered and said, "Yuzhu, don't treat everyone like fools either. If someone steals something, will they report themselves? Besides, we just checked your lunchbox and it's not clean inside either. You have 2 mantou and half a box of chicken in your lunchbox. Please explain to me what's going on." Yuzhu said, "I bought mantou myself. You know, I'm a bachelor. I don't cook at home, so I bought 2 mantou to eat tonight and tomorrow morning. These raw chicken." Kong, the head of the department, placed the lunchbox containing half a box of raw chicken in front of Yuzhu. This time, it's difficult to explain. This is not mantou. Mantou can be bought, but you can't buy chicken, and the factory will not sell it. Not to mention raw chicken. Yuzhu looked at Liu Aiguo and said decisively, "It's him. Liu Aiguo framed me. This thing must have been inserted by Liu Aiguo. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 003. Yizhonghai uses character as a guarantee. You are listening at novel full.audio. I have a grudge against him, he harbors resentment. Yuzhu pointed his hand directly at Liu Aiguo and said, "He is falsely accusing me. The meat in my lunchbox was also stuffed in by him. Now Chief Kong is facing difficulties." Yuzhu refused to admit or speak, and even said that Liu Aiguo was falsely accused. But Liu Aiguo has no evidence to prove that it was Yuzhu who made him steal it. Director Yang. Director Yang is here. Director Kong, Director Yang is here. A noisy sound echoed outside the security department. Not long after, a man wearing a shirt and black Zhongshan pants walked in. He was about 50 years old, with a majestic face and a considerable aura on his body. This is Director Yang, the head of the steel rolling mill. Director Yang, you're here. Great. Yuzhu's face lit up as he saw Director Yang. Director Yang, are you going to make decisions for me? Don't be too familiar with Yuzhu and Director Yang. Director Yang and a few other leaders, the leaders' hospitality dishes they eat every day are made by Yuzhu. And Director Yang has praised him more than once, saying that the dishes he makes are delicious. Thanks to Director Yang's praise, Yuzhu was so lawless in the kitchen that he didn't even pay attention to the cafeteria director, Lao Zhao. If Lao Zhao provoked him, he would still scold him back. And Director Zhao, as a leader, can only swallow his pride. Because he knows that Yuzhu has a good relationship with Director Yang. What's going on? Director Yang frowned and sat down. Why are you still stealing materials? You've made all the factory employees stare at you, and this has a bad impact. Director Yang complained about right or wrong before saying, what's going on? Liu Aiguo was very calm and did not speak first. Director Yang, it's like this. Yuzhu, the villain, first complained, pointing to Liu Aiguo and saying, isn't this Liu Aiguo a new employee in our factory who has been assigned to do odd jobs in the kitchen? I admit. My leadership may have made things difficult for him, but today he has been asked to do a lot of heavy work. But I am doing it for him. How can one work in our factory without the spirit of hard work and perseverance? But this kid doesn't know what's going on. He treated my kindness like a donkey's liver and lungs, thinking I was bullying him, so he framed me, put chicken in my lunchbox, and even said it was something I let him steal. Look at this. Don't be fooled by Yuzhu, he speaks in an orderly manner. The eloquence of this product is definitely not bad. Even Liu Aiguo didn't expect this guy to be so articulate. Oh. Director Yang's brow furrowed even tighter as he turned his head to look at Liu Aiguo and said, Xiao Lu. I know you. Your parents are both martyrs, and I was the one who arranged work a while ago. I have to say a few words about you here. Although your parents have made great contributions to the country, don't embarrass them. Upon hearing this, Director Yang believed what Yuzhu had said. Director Yang, you may have misunderstood. Liu Aiguo smiled and wanted to defend himself. Director Yang waved his hand and interrupted Liu Aiguo's words, listen to me first. Our factory workers need to learn to work hard, be down to earth, not afraid of hardship or fatigue. I was surprised by what happened today, but considering that you are a young person and your parents have made such a great contribution to the country, I cannot hold you accountable. Director Yang was preconceived and really thought it was Liu Aiguo who was causing trouble. Liu Aiguo continued to smile and said calmly, Director Yang, as a big factory director, you can't believe one side of the story. Can you at least give me a chance to defend yourself? Director Yang was taken aback for a moment, his gaze scanning Liu Aiguo for 3 seconds. He didn't expect a young man who appeared to be under 20 years old to have such composure, speak calmly and without hesitation, and be neither humble nor overbearing. There was an imperceptible hint of appreciation in his eyes. Oh. Yes, it's right. You should talk about it. Thank you, Director Yang. Liu Aiguo said, what Yuzhu just said was all lies. You know, Director Yang. Liu Aiguo said, I'm just a handyman, and I'm only assigned to do some rough and tiring work in the kitchen. Whether it's eggs, rice, chicken. These are precious and scarce materials. Every step from logistics to the kitchen, and then to the hands of the chef, is recorded. As a small handyman, even if I want to touch them, I can't touch these things. So Yuzhu said I was falsely accused and accused me of competing chicken in his lunchbox. Do you think it's possible? Director Yang frowned slightly and nodded, saying, young man, your thinking is quite clear. Director Kong also followed suit and said, Director Yang, Xiao Lu's analysis is very reasonable. According to the general process, he cannot touch these materials. He stole. Definitely he did. Yuzhu immediately lost his composure, pointing at Liu Aiguo and began to speak nonsense. He said Chief Kong, every precious item in and out of the kitchen is recorded. Just call Lao Zhao over and ask him to know. Go. Director Yang waved his hand and said, Lao Zhao's house is not far away. Call him back to me. Director Yang. At this moment, another person walked outside the door. He has an inch head, black hair, and is about 40 years old. Grandpa Yizhonghai. Yizhonghai walked out with a serious expression on his face and said solemnly, Director Yang, don't blame me for being rude. I just heard about this. I'll come over and say a few words to Zhu. The pillar and I are both in the same yard. As I watched him grow up, I know who he is the most. And you, Director Yang, have known the pillar for not a year or two. Don't you know how he looks? Everyone in our factory calls him Stupid Pillar because his heart is too sincere. I guarantee my character with Yizhonghai, and Yuzhu will definitely not have any problems. Yizhonghai walked across from Director Yang. Yizhonghai's position in the factory is also crucial. You should know that he is an old mechanic in the factory and a technical leader. Not only is he an 8th level fitter himself, but he also has dozens of apprentices. These people play an indispensable role in the production tasks of the steel rolling mill. And this era is different from later generations. Although the leaders are all talented, it belongs to the era of workers. In some ways, Director Yang still has to rely on these old workers. I can't help but give face to Yizhonghai. Director Yang's eyes furrowed slightly, and then he gave a wink to Director Kong, saying something that he was not suitable to say. Cough cough. Kong, the head of the health department, immediately understood and then coughed twice, saying, well. Xiao Lu. I think this is just a misunderstanding. This incident has a significant impact on the image of our factory. We need to consider the overall situation. I don't care who is right or wrong about this today, let's just treat it as a misunderstanding. Do you think it's okay? Whether it's right or wrong, we also need to consider the overall situation, otherwise if this news spreads, it will have a negative impact on the steel rolling plant. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 004. Deaf old lady relying on old age to sell old age. You are listening at novel full.audio. The reason why Director Yang wants to reconcile is not to maintain Yuzhu. Mainly because Yizhonghai came forward. Yizhonghai is not only the master in the factory, but also plays a crucial role in the production tasks in the factory. More importantly, he is the moral model of the entire factory, and many people believe in him. Let's put it this way. Yizhonghai has a high reputation. Director Yang doesn't need to offend an elderly person for the sake of a newcomer who just entered the factory. I have no objection. Yuzhu expressed his opinion and said, who makes me the old man of the kitchen, or the big brother of the kitchen? I am willing to forgive a newcomer, just treat him as a child who is not sensible. With this statement, it appears that Yuzhu is very magnanimous. Yizhonghai nodded with a smile and said, the pillar was made right. As elders, we must set an example for the children. Liu Aiguo gave a cold smile and said, you really don't know how to act. He was not afraid at all, holding the sincerity token in his hand. The sharp weapon is not useful yet. Xiao Lu, why don't you make a statement too? Kong Kachang looked at Liu Aiguo with a smile. Liu Aiguo said, Chief Kong, this matter was reported by me today. If it's just left unresolved, even though Liu Aiguo is young, he will still give a very bad impression. Besides, after this incident, who can guarantee that Yuzhu will not retaliate against me in the future? Can you guarantee that? It is obvious that Liu Aiguo does not want to compromise. Chief Kang's face turned black. Let's all give way, let's all give way. At this moment, another round of noise came from outside the door. The old lady is here. Let's all go, the old lady is here. I don't know when, Yuzhu and Qin Huairu helped the deaf old lady in the courtyard trembling into the security department. As soon as the old lady entered the security department, even Director Yang quickly stood up and said, Old lady, why did you come? Originally, after seeing Yuzhu's accident, Jia Dongxiu, who was also off work, quickly ran to the courtyard and brought the deaf old lady over. After all, in He Yuzhu's lunchbox, it's the food from their old Jia family. Most of the things He Yuzhu stole went into the stomachs of their old Jia family. And the steel rolling mill and the courtyard were very close, so Jia Dongxiu and Qin Huairu used a flatbed truck to push the old lady over. Speaking of this old lady, that's really amazing. It is said that all 4 of her sons have sacrificed their lives for the country, but she is a martyr's family. Still a 5-guarantee household. The entire Red Star Road Street, who can't give the old lady any face when they see her. As the leader of the steel rolling mill, Director Yang also interacts with the old lady, and sometimes some leaders in the 4 or 9 cities even bring comfort items to the old lady's house during festivals. Director Yang has followed the leader 2 or 3 times. What's going on? What's going on? As soon as the old lady came in, she pulled He Yuzhu and said, "What mistake did silly Zhu make?" He even brought him to the security department. "Are you going to sentence our silly Zhu to death?" Director Yang, did silly Zhu make a mistake? Old lady. Before Director Yang could speak, Jia Dongxiu beside him spoke up. Someone has falsely accused silly Zhu of stealing state-owned goods. Jia Dongxiu spoke while looking at Liu Aiguo. Impossible. The deaf old lady also gave Liu Aiguo a fierce look and said, "Absolutely impossible. Our foolish pillar wouldn't have done this. The pillar has been unknown since childhood." Director Yang, my old lady is old and can't hear or see clearly. But, the deaf old lady's voice suddenly increased, but my heart is still clean and clear. I can also distinguish between good and bad people. Listen to me. Put the pillar away, no matter what happens, the silly pillar will never steal anything. What my old lady said, even if someone steals something, it's him. As she spoke, the old lady pointed to Liu Aiguo. At the corner of Liu Aiguo's mouth, there was a hint of sneer as he sat on the chair, crossing his legs, pretending not to hear the old lady say anything. Take a look. The deaf old lady suddenly became angry. Take a look at this attitude. Seeing my old lady, she actually ignored me. Director Yang, this little Liu is not a good person at first glance. You must punish him. You must punish him. It's best to get fired from the factory. Director Yang's face turned bitter and he said, "Madam. This thing hasn't been figured out yet. Why should we be fired?" What? What are you saying? I'm getting old and I'm deaf and can't hear clearly. The deaf old lady began to pretend to be deaf and put her hand up beside her ear. Anyway, our pillar is fine. The old lady came over and crossed this bar horizontally. Not to mention Liu Aiguo, even Director Yang and Director Kong did not expect it. Director Yang. Director Yang, you're calling me. What's up? At that moment, Director Zhao, the head chef of the cafeteria, ran in panic, looking at the battle in front of him, feeling a bit confused. He finished work early and returned early. I don't know what happened in the factory. Just as he got home, he was caught by the security department, and Lao Zhao thought he had made something wrong. There's something wrong with your kitchen, Chief Kong, please tell me. Director Yang waved his hand. Director Kong explained the process of the incident and then asked Director Zhao, Old Zhao, you are familiar with the process in your kitchen. Can you explain what's going on? Lao Zhao glanced at He Yuzhu through his thick glasses and said, I've been looking down on this for a long time. I'm going to show you off today. Cough cough. Director Zhao said, Yang, it's like this. If we follow the process, Xiaolu cannot come into contact with materials like eggs and chicken. And when I finished work, I checked and found that our kitchen supplies were not stolen. I'm afraid someone is secretly stealing, filling their own pockets. Lao Zhao pointed directly at He Yuzhu with one sentence. He Yuzhu's face turned black. Before he could distinguish, the deaf old lady here had already pulled out her cane. Without saying a word, a cane hit Director Zhao's head. "Fuck your grandmother," the old lady scolded, "you're falsely accusing our foolish pillar. What kind of leader is this, Director Yang? Tomorrow, you'll dismiss him for me." The deaf old lady completely let go and started selling her old age here. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 005. Yuzhu, to be honest, the birds are dumbfounded. You are listening at novel full.audio. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The deaf old lady shouted and jumped up, waving her cane in her hand. It's impossible. The pillar definitely won't steal anything, Director Yang. If it can be proven that the pillar stole something, my old lady will immediately jump down from your 6th floor. If I'm not right, I'll die. The deaf old lady has a firm attitude. Yizhonghai also said, Director Yang, I can guarantee my reputation. Yuzhu cannot steal things. If he steals things, Yizhonghai is willing to lower his salary by 3 levels. What Yizhonghai said is also very decisive. Next to him, Jia Dongshu said, the pillar is a well-known good person in our courtyard, there won't be any problem. Yeah. Qin Huairu, the white lotus flower, also followed suit. Director Yang, you are the leader, and you also need to listen to public opinion. So many people are helping Yuzhu speak. Director Yang scratched his head with a headache. He looked at Chief Kong, who also smiled bitterly. Now it can be said that 90% of Yuzhu is problematic, but on the one hand, why do so many people guarantee him? On the other hand, there is not enough conclusive evidence. Although Director Zhao made it very clear, this is not conclusive evidence, it is just speculation. What should we do? Everyone suddenly fell into a predicament. Only Liu Aiguo, still sitting in a chair with a divine presence, had a confident mind. Well. Why not? Director Yang thought for a moment and then spoke up, wanting to reconcile. However. At this moment, Yuzhu suddenly stood up and said with a serious expression, all right, don't even say it, it was me who made a mistake. Yes, I stole the eggs, rice, meat and mantu. This Yizhonghai, the old lady, Qin Huairu, Jia Dongshu, and others were all stunned. The old lady raised her cane and said, Pillar, you're crazy. What are you talking nonsense about? Director Yang and Director Kong also found it unbelievable. Why did Yuzhu suddenly admit it? It was Liu Aiguo next to him, with a smile on his face. Of course, it was he who used the truth symbol, rewarded by the system to make Yuzhu admit his mistake. Director Yang, I was wrong. I did it all, said Yuzhu, kneeling on the ground with a thud, you. Yizhonghai said with a black face, Zhu, don't talk nonsense. Although Xiao Lu is young, you don't need to pity him and take the blame for him. No. Yuzhu was surprisingly honest, saying, this is not Xiaoyou's business, I did it myself. Today, Xiao Lu came to work for the first day, and I deliberately arranged a lot of chores for him, enough for 3 people, to let him know my authority, let him know that I am the final say in the kitchen, and I am Yuzhu in the kitchen. I asked him to steal things for me. I also threatened him that if he didn't listen to me, I would arrange more work for him tomorrow and exhaust him to death. If he dares not to do it, I will tell the leader Liu Aiguo to work tirelessly. If he fails the probationary period, he will be dismissed directly. This is my plan. Yuzhu didn't speak quickly, but he spoke very clearly. Upon hearing these words, Director Yang's face turned completely black. He didn't expect that the kitchen still had these dirty things to do. Pillar. What are you talking nonsense about? The deaf old lady trembled with anger and said, don't be confused. Let him speak. Director Yang was also angry. Yuzhu, to be honest, what's going on? And where do you get all these rice, eggs, and chicken? Yes. Yuzhu said, every time I cook rice soup, I put less rice. Over and over again, I can save 2 pounds of rice every week. I quietly take these rice away. As for eggs. Today, Lao Zhao gave me 8 eggs and asked me to make egg soup and stir-fried eggs with scallions for the leaders. I only used 6, deducted 2. I mixed some starch powder with eggs to fool around, the leaders definitely can't eat it. As for this half pound of chicken. Yuzhu said, it was this morning, while entertaining my superiors, I secretly left behind a chicken thigh and some chicken breast. Anyway, the leaders couldn't have discovered it. Even if they did, what would they do? Can they still run to the kitchen to settle accounts with me? However, I only have 2 lunch boxes and I can't fit them all, so let Liu Aiguo help me pack them. It's all my fault, I stole state-owned goods. Yuzhu admitted directly and thoroughly. Yuzhu. Director Kong suddenly asked, how long have you been stealing ingredients from the factory? It's been 2 years. Yuzhu said, I never used to steal, but 2 years ago, Qin Huairu suddenly approached me and asked me to bring leftover food to their house, saying that their children are suffering and that they can't grow tall without oily smell. At first, I just brought some leftover food, but when I got used to stealing, I started bringing ingredients. Qin Huai's face turned pale with a swish and he said, no. Yuzhu, you're speechless. It's not me, it's none of my business. All right. Director Yang glanced at Qin Huairu and said, you're not an employee of our factory, and I don't have the right to punish you. Don't argue anymore. Qin Huairu blushed and remained silent. All right. Director Kong said, the truth is now revealed. Yuzhu, you said it yourself. Please sign it. Director Kong brought an inquiry record. Yuzhu signed his name on each piece of paper. Yizhonghai, the old lady, and others all had dark faces. Liu Aiguo stood up from his chair with a smile and said indifferently, just now I heard that someone is going to lower their salary by 3 levels. Shua Yizhonghai's face turned even darker. Oh, by the way. Liu Aiguo said again, some people say they want to jump off the 6th floor, don't they? Everyone looked at the deaf old lady. That's right, that's what she just said. The deaf old lady blushed, and then pretended to be deaf. What are you talking about, Xiao Lu? I'm too old to hear. Speak louder. I can't hear you. As people get older, they become deaf. All right, let's go home, go home. The deaf old lady pulled Qin Huairu and left the security department in embarrassment. Yizhonghai and Jia Dongxiu also quickly ran out. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 006. Bicycle tickets arrived. You are listening at novel.Audio. In the office of the security department, there are only 4 people left. Director Yang, Director Kong, Liu Aiguo, and Yuzhu. Now Yuzhu has admitted to stealing. The next step is to address the issue. Xiao Lu. Yang Chang looked at Liu Aiguo with a smile and said, I almost wronged you this time. And you did the right thing. You are a role model for the younger generation. The meaning behind these words is not very pleasant to listen to. Liu Aiguo did not really feel like a role model. After all, giving small reports is always an uncomfortable thing no matter when. I need to explain a little more. Thank you, Director Yang. Liu Aiguo said, but don't praise me either. I'm not that great. If it weren't for Yuzhu deliberately manipulating me this time, I wouldn't have reported him. I have a personal grudge with him. This is to reassure Director Yang. I, Liu Aiguo, am not someone who casually makes small reports. Director Yang said, I understand. Anyone who is being bullied like this has to resist. Xiao Lu, don't have any psychological burden, you did the right thing. Come on, walk to my office and I'll tell you something. Okay. Liu Aiguo followed Director Yang to the leadership office. There is a 3-story small building in the steel rolling plant, which is a dedicated leadership office building. Director Yang's office is on the 2nd floor. After Liu Aiguo entered with Director Yang, he casually closed the door. Sit down. The two of them sat down in priority. Director Yang touched his nose with his hand and said seriously, Xiao Lu, you've been wrong this time. He Yuzhu, this bastard, is not a good person. However, I have to ask for something from you. I hope we can handle this matter internally in the factory and not publicize it, can we? Liu Aiguo's eyebrows trembled. This matter is big or small? If he really reports to the discharge station, maybe he Yuzhu will go to jail. After all, this is stealing state-owned materials, and it's not once or twice, it's been stealing for 2 years. Director Yang needs to handle it internally and doesn't want him to expose this matter. I am also afraid of affecting the reputation of our steel rolling mill. After all, everyone is a collective, and we all prosper and suffer. Director Yang took out a big front door cigarette and started smoking. Do you understand? Liu Aiguo did not directly agree, but instead asked in reverse, I don't know how Director Yang prepared to deal with He Yuzhu. Director Yang frowned and said, let him go to the workshop for a month of labor reform. Liu Aiguo remained silent. Director Yang said again, half a year. He did not dismiss He Yuzhu for 2 reasons. First, he was afraid of losing face and affecting the reputation of the steel rolling mill. Secondly, he also needs He Yuzhu. If He Yuzhu is really fired, who will prepare the hospitality dishes for the steel rolling mill in the future? After all, He Yuzhu's craftsmanship is quite good. He. Liu Aiguo smiled and said, Director Yang, I think Director Kong is right in saying that we should prioritize the overall situation. Don't worry, Liu Aiguo, am not that selfish and petty person, and I have no objection to internal handling. He. Yan Cheng smiled and said, okay. Xiao Lu, it's really nice of you to think this way. By the way, you just arrived at the factory, and if you have any difficulties in life or work, just report them to me directly. I promise to solve it for you. Liu Aiguo knows that this is human kindness. Liu Aiguo gave him a favor this time, and Director Yang wants to repay it. Since you want to repay it, I won't hesitate. Director Yang, not to mention, I really have a difficult time now. Liu Aiguo smiled and looked at Director Yang. Director Yang took a puff of his cigarette and fiercely puffed out a cigarette ring, saying, no problem, if you have any difficulties, just let me know. Liu Aiguo said, I've been studying lately and I have to go to the city library to borrow books when I have nothing to do. But the distance is too far and it's inconvenient to come back and forth. So I wanted to buy a bicycle, but I don't have a bicycle ticket in my hand. I wonder if our factory still has a name. You can get a bicycle ticket with just 1 bite. Director Yang's face twitched and he said, this guy is really tough. You should know that in this era, bicycles are rare, luxury goods, and a symbol of status. This thing is not cheap, but for many workers, it is still affordable. The key is a bicycle ticket, which not everyone can get. In general, only leaders at the level of Director Yang and Deputy Director Li are assigned, and ordinary people should not think about it. Of course, units like steel mills also have some quotas to reward outstanding employees, but they are definitely not many. You kid. Are you really good at picking? Director Yang nodded at Liu Aiguo with a smile on his right hand, holding a cigarette, and said, okay, you're not afraid of being eye-catching. I'll give you one. It's a recognition of your contributions today. Wow. Director Yang opened his drawer and took out a stack of receipts from it. Then he pulled out a bicycle ticket and carefully considered it before saying, "No, this is a Phoenix brand bicycle ticket. It's still valid for 2 months, here it is." "Thank you." Liu Aiguo was overjoyed when he received the receipt. Yang Cheng smiled and said, "I don't need these tickets anymore. I'll give them all to you. If you can use them, you can use them. If you don't need them, give them away." Pop Director Yang threw another stack of receipts. "Thank you, Director Yang." Liu Aiguo happily picked up the bill. "Go. Go." Director Yang waved his hand and waved Liu Aiguo out of the office. Liu Aiguo was extremely happy in his heart. "I don't have to mention the bicycle ticket, but Director Yang also gave me some other tickets. It's really interesting. Let's take a look at these tickets first. What kind of tickets are they?" "The gentle breeze blows, and night falls." Liu Aiguo walked on the street of Hongxing Road, checking the stack of tickets given by Director Yang as he walked. "Soap tickets. This thing. Okay, it's also useful. You can buy soap later." "Ice cream tickets. Purchase 100 vouchers. This no wonder you give it to me, it's not useful. Who can buy 100 ice creams at once?" Priority supply certificate for hot water bottles. An ordinary light bulb purchase tickets, cold ball tickets, fried dough sticks tickets. This okay. These bills still have some purpose. But you gave me 5 loads of feces and 1,000 pounds of urine, is this guy serious? P.S. Ladies and gentlemen, use your little hands to make a fortune. Here are some flowers and evaluation tickets. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 007. Old Popsicle's Greedy Cry Stick Meme. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I have to say, this era is really a bit interesting. Liu Aiguo smiled and collected all the receipts into the system space, only taking out his bicycle ticket. Then he walked towards the Red Star Road department store without looking back. These days, private transactions are not allowed. All ordinary people can only buy and sell things through supply and marketing cooperatives and cooperatives. There are many items sold here. As long as you have receipts and money, you can open up and make purchases. A slightly more upscale place is called a department store. If you want to buy a bicycle, you must be inside a department store. Perhaps to take care of the workers leaving work late, the employees of the department store didn't close their doors until 9:30 p.m. Liu Aiguo arrived at the department store not too late. On the contrary, after the employees finish work, the business of the department store is actually very good. Inside the department store, the incandescent lights are very bright, and the floor is also high-end. It is made of terrazzo and has gold wire clamped. In this era, people may mock low, but in this era, terrazzo flooring is definitely synonymous with luxury. The flow of people is like weaving. Liu Aiguo finally squeezed in and came to the sales counter, saying, "Hello, I want to buy a bicycle." Schwa. As soon as this statement was made, not only did the salesperson frown, but the customers around also turned their attention to Liu Aiguo one by one. After all, in this era, bicycles are rare and luxury items. It's not something that can be bought with money. Being able to own a bicycle ticket is definitely an aristocrat. Hello. As soon as she heard that she was buying a bicycle, the salesperson's attitude was also exceptionally good. A smile that had not been shown for a day appeared on her face, and she sweetly said, "There is no counter on the first floor. You need to go to the 3rd floor to buy, but at this point, I'm not sure if they can still sell." Oh. Liu Aiguo went up to the 3rd floor. Then I realized the meaning of the salesperson's sentence on the 1st floor. I don't know if they can still sell. There are bicycles, not only there are, but also several, including those from Phoenix, Permanent, and Flying Pigeon. But the staff on the household nameplate have finished work. At this time, buying a bicycle requires registration and paying a bicycle tax of 3 yuan per year. The person who registered the license plate has finished work, which means they cannot buy it. You can come tomorrow. If you really don't have time, come tomorrow at noon. The salesperson on the third floor gave Liu Aiguo a very good suggestion. Cheng. Liu Aiguo nodded and left. Bicycles are not very rare and he doesn't have much enthusiasm. After all, in later generations, this thing was too common. Squeezing from the third floor to the first floor again, Liu Aiguo was sweating profusely. It's really hot. There is no air conditioning these days, and the entire department store doesn't even have fans. However, there are also many people holding popsicles to cool off. And it looks very similar to the old popsicles of later generations. Liu Aiguo suddenly remembered that Director Yang seemed to have given him a ticket for an ice cream popsicle. Since everyone has come, let's try the popsicles of this era. But when Liu Aiguo saw the words, "You can buy 100 popsicles," on the popsicle ticket, he pursed his lips and said, "Damn it. 100 popsicles, are you so extravagant? You should know that bills are not changed. Buy as much as you have." Fortunately, he has system space, but he is not afraid that endless popsicles will melt away. How much does this popsicle cost per stick? Liu Aiguo asked. Half. The salesperson chuckled and said, "But I need an ice cream ticket. Do you have one?" Ice cream tickets are also not common. After all, ordinary people are not willing to eat it, so this thing is destined to be very niche. I have it. Then, Liu Aiguo took out the ticket and 2 yuan. Then, amidst the surprised gazes of all the onlookers in the entire department store, Liu Aiguo gracefully left the building with a small mesh net bag, carrying 100 old popsicles. That's it. Gently, I left, just as I came gently, taking away 100 ice cream. Collect. After leaving the door of the department store, Liu Aiguo found an unnoticed place and waved his hand, putting all 100 old popsicles into the system. In a courtyard house. The smoke from the kitchen was rising, and every household began to cook. The old ladies are cooking at home, while the old men sit together at the door chatting and boasting, talking big. This is the basic living condition of the old men in the 49 cities. However, today the atmosphere in the courtyard is somewhat dull. Under the old locust tree at the entrance of Yizhonghai's house, there is a square table. At this moment, Yizhonghai is sitting at the top, with the second eldest son Liu Hai and the third eldest son Yan Bugui on either side. There are also Jia Dongxiu, Jia Zhangshi, and others. This little beast. Jia Zhang, who was in his 50s, exclaimed angrily, "This will cut off the food for our old Jia family. This won't make him feel any better. Damn it." Jia Dongxiu also said fiercely, "Silly Zhu is really a fool. If he doesn't admit it, nothing will happen." Why did he suddenly admit it? All right. Yizhonghai put down the enamel jar in his hand and said, "None of you are allowed to complain about silly pillars. In that case, it's inevitable that you'll be afraid. So don't complain. Yuzhu is Yizhonghai's thug, Yizhonghai needs to maintain Yuzhu. Yizhonghai is a moral model in the courtyard. When someone opposes him, he cannot take the initiative to retaliate against them, which shows his magnanimity. But behind the scenes, he instigated Yuzhu to hit someone. For example, Su Dumao. Su Dumao couldn't stand the people in the courtyard from a young age, so naturally he wasn't very convinced of Yizhonghai. What was the result? Infertility caused by being beaten by Yuzhu. The old lady just spoke. Yizhonghai sneered, "We'll have a meeting after dinner. Let's give him a warning first." Yo! Who are you planning to intimidate? A sudden sound, neither salty nor dull, came from behind. The crowd was startled. Turn around and take a look. But I saw Liu Aiguo lazily watching everyone while eating popsicles. Everyone's faces suddenly turned black. Qi Lu. Qi Lu. Liu Aiguo ate the old popsicle without any fear. The taste is good. On this side, following Zhang's side, the 10-year-old stick meme immediately drooled. Grandma. Grandma. I want to eat popsicles. I want to eat popsicles. The originally serious atmosphere was instantly shattered by these two words from the meme. Qi Lu. Qi Lu. Liu Aiguo swallowed the few remaining popsicles in one gulp, then shook his hand and threw the popsicle onto the ground. Upon seeing this situation, Bang Ji burst into tears greedily. Ice popsicles. They're gone. Sobbing. Grandma, go buy me ice popsicles. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 008. Crawling Zhang and Bang Geng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wow. Woo woo woo. Seeing Liu Aiguo finish his popsicles in one breath, he became extremely resentful. Holding on to Zhang's pants with both hands, she screamed desperately, woo woo. I want to eat popsicles. I want to eat popsicles. I'm already 10 years old, but I don't know anything about human affairs. If you're not late, just hate it. When you hate in your heart, you will be ruthless in your hands. As a result, due to excessive force, Bang Ji directly pulled off Zhang's pants. Puff. Upon seeing this moment, Liu Aiguo almost burst out laughing with ice cream in his mouth. Zhang quickly put on her pants and said, patriotic. Do you still have an ice cream ticket in your hand? Look at how greedy the child is, give me one, and I'll go buy an ice cream for Bang Ji. You need to have a ticket to eat popsicles these days. Although popsicle tickets are not considered a luxury item, few ordinary people buy ice cream, which makes them very niche and difficult for most people to obtain. Zhang thought that since Liu Aiguo had eaten popsicles, he probably still had tickets. As a result, Liu Aiguo shrugged and said, I'm sorry, Grandma Jia. I don't have any tickets. Fart. Jia Dongshu next to him said with a dark face, you did it intentionally. Can you buy an ice cream without a ticket? Liu Aiguo smiled and said, Dongshu, I didn't buy popsicles. I got them from someone else. When I just returned, Red Star Road was heading towards our steel rolling mill. It seemed like community volunteers were distributing popsicles to the people to cool off. I happened to bump into it and went to get one. After speaking, Liu Aiguo crossed the courtyard with a smile and hummed a song all the way to his own room in the backyard. His house is next to Su Dumao's house. The second uncle Liu Haizhong's house is directly across the street. The slanted door is the home of the dead old lady. Open the door, the room is also steaming hot. Opening the coal ball stove, Liu Aiguo thought for a moment and cooked a rice soup. Dinner. Just make it simpler, and cook a few more eggs as well. There is also pork in the system, and I originally wanted to eat some meat. But on second thought, after finishing the matter with Yuzhu just now and eating meat again, being smelled by those beasts in the yard, it won't be easy tonight. I guess it won't be able to stop for most of the night. Boiled eggs have no taste, they are just right. Adding water and washing half a bowl of rice inside, Liu Aiguo lost 4 or 5 eggs. He sat on a chair, waiting for the water to boil. About 20 minutes later, a hot and steaming aroma emerged from the pot. I thought there would be no flavor spread without eating meat, but unexpectedly, the aroma of the rice spread. Hiss, hiss. Lu Xiaoyi, the newly married bride next door, walked to the door with her nose up and said, Liu Aiguo. Are you cooking rice? Why is the rice so fragrant? Lu Xiaoyi is the daughter of a capitalist. She hasn't eaten anything delicious since she was young. However, it was the first time she had smelled such fragrant rice today. Liu Aiguo smiled and said, "Sister-in-law, it's nothing but cooking rice porridge." Yo. Liu Xiao said, "Your living conditions are good." Liu Aiguo said, "What's so good about this? I'll treat my sister-in-law to dumplings another day." How do you feel like this is strange? Liu Xiao didn't know why, but her face blushed slightly. After chatting for a while, Liu Xiao returned to her room. On the other side, the courtyard. Bang Geng pulled Zhang's clothes and cried loudly, "I want to eat popsicles. Grandma, I want to eat popsicles. If you don't give me popsicles, you're not my grandmother, and I'm not your good grandson either." This sentence is like poking a knife at Zhang's heart. Line. Zhang couldn't resist his obedient grandson and said, "You come with me. Anyway, it's free distribution. I'll take you to collect it." Mom. Zhang was walking towards the door with a stick, and Jia Dongshu said, "You go get a basket, take more, and come back to give everyone one to eat. Since it's about taking advantage, the more you take, the better." Okay. It's still my son's careful consideration. Zhang quickly ran home, picked up a basket, and went out with a stick. Under the locust tree, Grandpa Yizhonghai always felt something was wrong. He wants to stand up and remind Zhang. But when he saw the crying and fussing appearance of Bang Ji, he didn't speak up to his lips. Yizhonghai is afraid that if he tells the truth, Bang Ji will come over and pull his pants too. Zhang, with a stick, except for the courtyard house. On the Red Star Road at the entrance, there are black holes on both sides. Without a single glance, the two ends of the road were like endless black abyss, with only palm-sized dim yellow lights scattered in the houses next to the street, providing a hint of comfort. The night sky above is deep. The lead cloud looked heavy and rainy, with no trace of starlight or moonlight. The entire air was filled with a damp and stuffy smell. "It's really hot." Zhang frowned and said, "Where does this place have popsicles?" Liu Aiguo said, "It's over at the steel rolling mill." Bang Ji pointed to the right side. "Let's go then." Zhang walked towards the direction where the steel rolling mill was located with a stick. Let's go. In the middle of the night, there's not even a single person on the road. Zhang walked a full kilometer, already exceeding the distance of the steel rolling mill. Stick, I don't see it anymore. It's probably Liu Aiguo's nonsense. Let's go back. No. I want to eat ice cream, I want to eat popsicles. Woo. Bang Geng reached out and grabbed Zhang's pants. Zhang had no choice but to continue walking. "I have been walking for 2 kilometers, and I have reached the end of Red Star Road, but I still haven't seen the person who made popsicles. I asked the people on the roadside to cool off, and they all said they didn't see the volunteers." Zhang said, "Damn Liu Aiguo, it's so hot. Why is it so hot today? My clothes are soaking wet. Damn Liu Aiguo, he lied to us. Let's go home and settle accounts with him." After speaking, the two of them walked towards the courtyard again. It's another 2 kilometers back. When Zhang returned to the courtyard with his stick, his whole body was soaked and he was almost on the verge of heatstroke. "Mom." Jia Dongshu quickly stood up and asked, "How many popsicles have you received? Is that enough for each of us?" "Enough bullshit. Whoa. Damn it. Whoa. Liu Aiguo. He lied to me. Whoa. No one even sends popsicles. What?" Jia Dongshu suddenly became angry. He patted the table and said, "You're lying to us. Damn it, let's go find him to settle the accounts. To deceive, you must give me an explanation." Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 009. Yizhonghai is shown to bleed. You are listening at novel full.audio. Inside, Liu Aiguo has just finished his meal. I drank 2 bowls of thick rice porridge and ate 5 boiled eggs. After all the food was taken, it was considered full. Although this meal may not seem impressive to future generations, in this era, it is a top-notch dish. Just finished eating, when Liu Aiguo was about to take out another popsicle from the system to cool down, there was a noisy sound of footsteps outside. Jia Dongshu, Yizhonghai, Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugue, and Jia Zhangshi came over with their stick memes. Liu Aiguo. Get out of here, get out. Get out. Jia Dongshu roared outside. Liu Aiguo slowly opened the door. The lights in the room illuminated half of the yard. Liu Xiao next door also opened the door. The yard is even brighter inside. Watching Jia Zhang panting heavily and her clothes soaked through, Liu Aiguo couldn't help but grin and say, "Hey. Grandma Jia, did you fall into the water?" You. Jia Zhang stumbled in anger. Without saying a word, Liu Aiguo continued, "Why did you bring a bamboo basket when you went into the water? You're just drawing water from a bamboo basket and it's all in vain." Puff. Jia Zhang was so angry that she almost went up to catch Liu Aiguo. "I'm hot here." Jia Zhang exclaimed angrily, "Liu Aiguo, are you deceiving people? There's no one outside who delivers popsicles. I've been looking for it for a while, but I haven't seen it. You must be playing tricks on me, right? That's it." Jia Dongshu walked up angrily and showed off his muscles to Liu Aiguo. "Liu Aiguo, what's so special? You're looking for death, kid. If you don't give me an explanation today, I'll beat you to death." Yizhonghai said, "Xiao Lu, what you're doing is not generous. You made Grandma Jia run around for nothing." "That's right." Liu Haizhong also followed suit, "You guy, why are you so bad at a young age? Our courtyard doesn't have such bad people. Let me see. Just drive us out of our courtyard. Get out." Yan Bugue agreed. Liu Aiguo chuckled and said, "No, no. Grandpa and Grandma Jia, didn't you take my word seriously? Just now, I saw that Bang Ji was crying all along. I was trying to coax the child. You won't take my words about coaxing children seriously, will you? Jia Papa. You wouldn't really think someone was getting popsicles, would you? You have a brain problem, would you go get popsicles?" Liu Aiguo looked at Jia and Zhang with a disdainful expression on his face. Puff. After being tricked, he still mocked me. Jia Zhang was so angry that she spat out a mouthful of blood at that time. "Brother Dongshu." Liu Aiguo looked at Jia Dongshu's muscular expression and said, "I'll just coax the child. Aren't you really going to fight me?" "That's right." Liu Xiao next to her also said, "If you're trying to coax the child, how can you take it seriously? They are coaxing the children. I think this is just a misunderstanding." In the courtyard, there were not only the 3 elders, but also many other residents. They saw that Liu Aiguo's words were reasonable and well-founded, and each of them began to speak up for Liu Aiguo. The 3 masters and the people of the Lao Jia family are going crazy. This Nima, who has been tricked by others, still needs to be preached by them. This grass. Meeting. Meeting, meeting. Yizhonghai, with a dark face, shouted in the courtyard, "All the old and young men, have dinner now. Come to the courtyard for a meeting. Today, the old lady has something to say." While when it came to the meeting, everyone in the courtyard put down their bowls and chopsticks and gathered towards the middle courtyard. Everyone must participate in this meeting, and if they don't participate, it will be a big problem. A horse lamp burned brightly, illuminating the entire courtyard. Yizhonghai sat at the top. Second grandpa and third grandpa are arranged left and right respectively. Yizhonghai held an enamel jar in his hand, took a gentle sip of tea, and then placed the jar on a square table. On the white primer of the cylinder, there is a circle of red lettering. Exemplary individual of Hongqing Road No. 3 steel rolling plant. Cough cough. Rare, Grandpa Liu Haizhong spoke first and said, "I'm sorry to shout everyone up so late. However, something big happened in our courtyard today. You may have noticed it too." "That's right, silly Zhu is not at home, he hasn't come back." Without saying it, I don't know." Liu Haizhong's words immediately caused a commotion among the crowd. "I really didn't see Yuzhu." "What about Yuzhu?" "Silly pillar. Someone has calculated." Liu Haizhong glanced at Liu Aiguo as he spoke. Liu Aiguo remained silent. Su Dumao snorted disdainfully and said, "Besides. Second master, you really know how to give silly pillar a gold medal. Why was someone calculating it? It was he who stole something and was caught by someone. He admitted it himself, and you still said he was being calculated. If you want to say that in this courtyard, Su Dumao is the one who doesn't deal with silly Zhu mouth. Silly Zhu has come to this end, and Su Dumao has been so happy since work that his mouth can hardly close. Su Dumao, please shut up." Yizhonghai said with a dark face, "I didn't let you speak. All right. Let me talk about it." Yizhonghai took a deep breath and forcefully took his voice out of his bangs, saying, "I guess everyone has heard about it too. Silly Zhu did make a mistake and was arrested. But that's not the point. The key is, some people in our courtyard have betrayed or had an inner ghost. Although the pillar was made incorrectly, is it right for you to report it? Is it shameful for us to lose our quadrangle? Are we still not a collective? Do we still have to compete in community excellence evaluations by the end of the year?" Undoubtedly, Yizhonghai effortlessly covered up Yuzhu's own mistakes as soon as he spoke up, and then used the topic as a pretext to confront Liu Aiguo. "To take a step back, if you find a problem with the pillar, you can also tell me. Can't we solve it internally? We have to make everyone aware. Embarrass everyone together, big guy." At this point, Yizhonghai's eyes suddenly turned and sharply turned to Liu Aiguo, asking, "Liu Aiguo, do you think what I said is right? Do you agree or disagree?" This time, he directly showed a sharp knife to Liu Aiguo. Liu Aiguo's answer is either agree or disagree. Yizhonghai blocked Liu Aiguo's path completely. Everyone in the courtyard looked at Liu Aiguo. At this moment, the entire courtyard is filled with a solemn atmosphere. There is a rustling sound of boundless falling wood. If Liu Aiguo doesn't speak well, he is likely to be kicked out of the courtyard directly. Cough, cough, cough. But Liu Aiguo was well prepared and didn't let out a nervous dry cough. "Liu Aiguo. Where can I ask you a question?" Yizhonghai shouted again. "Sound like a thunderous bell." Liu Aiguo opened his mouth and put his hand on his ear, saying, "Grandpa E. What are you saying? My ears are not working well, I didn't hear it just now." "Say it again." "This is a vivid and iconic gesture of a deaf old lady." Puff. Poo-poo poo-poo. Puff. Ha ha ha. This made everyone in the courtyard laugh. A serious and murderous anger swept away. Yizhonghai couldn't believe that his question was actually this answer. He had a feeling of punching cotton with two fists, and his face turned black at the time, almost spewing blood from Liu Aiguo's show. Nima. This damn thing. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 010. Continuous Critical Strike Yizhonghai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 010 Continuous Critical Strike Yizhonghai. If you dare to learn from me, I'll beat you to death, you turtle grandson. Not only did the three gentlemen turn dark, but the deaf old lady on this side also became furious when she saw Liu Aiguo's demeanor. It's not a big deal for Liu Aiguo to use this move to resolve Yizhonghai, and he also satirized her as an old lady. You should know that the deaf old lady's deafness is selective. When encountering something she wants to hear, she is clear in her ears and does not mean she is vague at all. But when she doesn't want to listen or plays pranks, she just pretends to be deaf and can't hear anything. Everyone knows this matter well and knows the old lady's act of pretending to be crazy and foolish. But no one has the courage to accuse. After all, the old lady is a loyal martyr, the largest martyr in the courtyard, and the divine needle of the sea in the courtyard. But today, Liu Aiguo actually mocked him and her in this way. The old lady couldn't bear it anymore. She stood up trembling and pulled her cane towards Liu Aiguo. Liu Aiguo is a 19-year-old young man who couldn't have been hit by an old lady. He dodged a little and then hit on the other side. Who? 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 The old lady's body was so angry that it fluctuated. Yizhonghai said, "Enough. Didn't you see that the old lady's health was not good?" Everyone came over to support her. Aunt Yi stepped forward and helped the old lady. Yizhonghai said again, "Liu Aiguo. Do you understand what it means to respect the elderly and love the young? Every year in our courtyard, we are evaluated for excellence, and every year we are advanced quadrangles in the community." Yizhonghai, with a dark face, shouted at Liu Aiguo, "Our courtyard is full of honest people, real people, and good people. Since you came, take a look at the ups and downs in the courtyard." Liu Aiguo pouted and said, "There are so many good people." "Are you talking about good people who steal things in the kitchen, Mr. E? You?" Yizhonghai's whole body trembled with air. However, Liu Aiguo's words really hit his weakness. Yizhonghai cannot retaliate. "Alright, let's not talk about this today. Let's get down to business." Yizhonghai quickly changed the topic and said, "What's going on? We have to start with the silly Zhu incident. What Yuzhu did was indeed wrong, but it's understandable. He came back from the factory to give some leftover food to the children because he saw that the three children in Qin Huairu's family were malnourished. I don't know what happened this time, so he was caught. But anyway, Yuzhu is kind-hearted, for the sake of our courtyard, to ensure that the three malnourished children in Qin Huairu's family can receive good care." As soon as he spoke, Yizhonghai would wash the floor for Yuzhu. As the sentence ended, Liu Aiguo's lazy voice rang out on the other side. "What did you just say, Mr. E? Malnutrition? Is it the kind of malnutrition with a fat head and big ears? Puff. Poo-poo poo-poo. Ha ha ha." As soon as Liu Aiguo uttered this sentence, the crowd immediately erupted. I didn't feel anything wrong with Yizhonghai's statement before, but it was only after Liu Aiguo pointed it out that everyone realized it. Something's wrong. You said that the three siblings of Bang Geng were malnourished, but why did Bang Geng eat one by one with fat heads and big ears? Especially the meme, "My cheeks are almost bursting." Is this particularly malnutrition? This rubbing our intelligence against the ground. Everyone laughed and looked at Yizhonghai. In their hearts, Yizhonghai's towering moral role model image has been invisibly shortened at this moment. Yizhonghai didn't expect Liu Aiguo to interrupt again. He was so angry that he trembled all over. Nima. This little beast has a pretty good brain. Silence, silence, silence. Yizhonghai quickly patted the table and said fiercely, "Liu Aiguo, what are you doing? From now on, when I speak, you must not interrupt. This is the most basic courtesy. Do you understand? Are you still from an intellectual background? Why don't you have any manners?" Yizhonghai once again attacked Liu Aiguo from his personal qualities. Go ahead, go ahead." Liu Aiguo said, "I won't say it anymore. You can say it alone, you can be autocratic, okay? You." Yizhonghai's mind stirred with excitement, huh? However, as Mr. E, who has been floating and sinking in the courtyard for over a decade, what scenes have he never seen before? Quickly, he suppressed his emotions and continued, so, of course, the way the pillar was done was wrong, but it's understandable. But some people are different. They don't talk about it, and they even spread it out, fearing that others won't know. These people have no sense of collective honor, no collective consciousness, and are selfish. Hee. Let me tell you, staying in our courtyard like this is a disaster. In today's meeting, we need everyone to raise their hands and vote on whether it's possible to drive this person out of our courtyard and have the street arrange another place for him to live. Now let's raise our hands to vote. Those who agree to drive Liu Aiguo out of the courtyard should raise their hands. Yizhonghai himself was the first to raise his hand. Then Grandpa 2 and Grandpa 3 also raised their hands. The rest of the people were still watching, but at that moment, Bang Ji suddenly jumped up and said, "Popsicles. I want to eat popsicles. I want to eat popsicles." The sudden mutation surprised everyone. I saw Bang Ji quickly running towards Liu Aiguo's direction. But Liu Aiguo, at some point, was holding an old popsicle in his hand and leisurely eating it among the crowd. Seeing this situation, Yizhonghai's face turned black again. "Damn it. We're voting here, what are you doing? I want to eat popsicles. I want to eat popsicles. Grandma. Popsicles. Popsicles." Bang Ji shouted loudly. Not only did he shout, but he also reached out and mercilessly pulled down Zhang's short pants. Bomb. Puff. Ha ha ha. The crowd in the courtyard burst into laughter again. Yizhonghai, who had only raised half of his hand to vote, was so angry that his enamel jar fell to the ground. "Liu Aiguo. What are you doing?" Yizhonghai was furious. Liu Aiguo, however, was not angry at all. He said calmly, "I'm eating popsicles. If you don't let me talk, I'll just shut up. Can't I make a mistake while eating popsicles? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.